For the few that have actually read any terms and conditions, what sneaky things have you found?
It wasn't actually me. It was the manager I was interning with. He told me about how it was important to read everything, even the terms and conditions. When you go to an iPhone's license page, or something else, I don't remember, it says that they won't take any responsibility to any shock you received from the phone if it were 5 millimeters away from you, unless you had something blocking it from your skin, like clothes, or a pocket protector.
If you make money on TikTok, the owners can rightfully take the money.
I don't have a story myself, but I found this article about a man who won a $1,000 giveaway that was hidden in the ULO of an app. The 3,000 people who installed the program before him didn't bother to read it.
Not TNCS so much, but when I saw everything the Facebook app wanted access to on my phone, I just deleted it. I don't remember what they for, but I agreed to the terms and conditions that I had to send the owner in Sweden a regular chocolate chip cookie, just one. I decided to chance it and go the criminal route and not do it. I got away with it, phew.
When we registered our Samsung front-loading washing machine online, the terms and conditions stipulated something along these lines: use of detergents not recommended by the manufacturer may cause malfunctions not covered under warranty. But there was no specific list of recommended detergents given, other than stating they had to be high-efficiency, laundry detergent.
I'd kiff this is super surprising, but I read the entire lease for my first apartment and apparently, I couldn't get out of my lease even if I died.
iTunes forbids you to use their software to design nuclear weapons. Edit.
Bethesda can hire an assassin just to scare you if you use mods.
At the bottom of a game console terms of condition there was a $10 code.
Do employment agreements that force you to waive legal rights in favor of in-house arbitration count?
The act of God clause always gets me, lol. It's basically any uncontrollable natural forces without human interference. So my question is, would an alien invasion count as an act of God?
A friend of mine claims he actually read the whole Steam's terms and conditions. Apparently they can take away games from your library whenever they want regardless of how much you paid. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the games are essentially rented digital copies without a defined return date.
I can't remember the app. It was many moons ago I saw this, but it was supposed to be geared toward aspiring photographers and giving them exposure, and you could rate other photos and do challenges. Essentially the TOS said that anything you post is now their property that they can use for whatever they want, including making money off of it.
Someone posted on the Dubai subreddit yesterday that they had signed up for Amazon Prime trial in the UAE. Towards the end of the month they got the email that their free trial would end, and after that, Amazon will charge his account 12 AED for a year, rather than 12 AED every month for a year. He contacted Amazon and they agreed to honor it.
I'm a lawyer. Whenever undergrads tell me they want to go to law school, I tell them to read the entire iTunes terms and conditions, without skipping a single sentence. If they can't get through it, they don't have the discipline and attention to detail for law school.
There was a story contest from a theme park where your story could be published, but any story submitted would automatically be owned by the company and could not be used by you or others. So they could throw your story in the trash and you still wouldn't legally own it anymore and can't publish it somewhere else. They own your story so they can make money out of it without paying you a dime. They were not obligated to credit you as the writer other than mentioning it somewhere in the first publishing. After that it was fair game. They were allowed to alter your story as they saw fit without consulting you. I wasn't the only one who noticed. It was soon pointed out on social media. There wasn't really a backlash, but I didn't submit a story.
I remember a story years ago about this guy applying for a loan or credit card from his bank but asked to take the documents home and read over them and send them back a signed copy. He added clauses in the T&Cs that the bank had to pay him, and if they wanted out of the contract they had to pay him some huge exit fee. Signed the amended one and sent it back to them and they agreed to it without reading it. Not sure how true it is though.
Rakuten gives them free access to all your emails.
I read on Reader's Digest that a woman was reading the fine print or a company pages long, and about halfway through, it read, "It pays to read," with directions to an email. She won $10,000.
Wanted to sign my kid up for cheerleading. Sat there and read the terms and agreement. Said something along the lines of, "We are not responsible for any accidents that occur in the transportation of your child." My husband lost his brother in a school transportation accident and they initially tried to avoid the blame. So naturally that line gave us the heebie-jeebies and we just left. Turns out they were just a shady company all around. She now does cheer through her school.
Nothing is my fault, and if anything bad happens, it's definitely your fault.
At a gun range one time I saw that if I yelled out "I love dogs, my time and anything I buy is half price," I immediately did so, startling my best friend. That was awesome. The contract to a job I had working in the desert warned about the frequency of alien attacks. I was disappointed to go a year and a half without any, though.
Thank you customer for actually reading our terms and conditions. Send us an email with the following content and we will send you a free box of chocolates. They did indeed send chocolate. Pretty sure anyone who ever played the original Diablo also agreed sold their soul to the devil in the terms and conditions.
Back in the day when people, legally, acquired new music by buying CDs, one of the bands I listened to would hide nice little messages to fans in the copyright/legal fine print in the booklet that came with the CD. Sometimes there would be a small link to a hidden part of their website that had extra content.
I don't know if they changed it, but when you chose the fragile tie-in in a mail system like FedEx, that didn't mean they would take special care of it, but that you admitted that it was fragile and therefore it could be broken without being their fault, leaving you unable to sue them for breaking your package or to ask any reimbursement.
GameStation once made an immortal soul clause on April Fool's Day, to prove that no one actually reads the terms and conditions. It read, "By placing an order via this website on the first day of the 4th month of the year 2010 Anno Domini, you agree to grant us a non-transferable option to claim, for now and forevermore, your immortal soul."
I didn't read this on the toes but learned about it. Amazon apparently asked its users, "Do you want your voice data to be used for improving our future services?" You'd think replying no would stop the transfer of voice data? No. It would only not be used for improving future services. They'd still be able to do with it whatever they were doing till date.
As someone who had to get a privacy policy and read the thing, as far as I know I'm not allowed to use my own service, according to the legal agreement I got with myself and agreed to. In case I do know that I access the service against what's written in the privacy policy, I should contact myself by email letting me know that so I can erase any private data I got on myself. If I refuse to erase the data, I think I can sue myself. Send help.
Buying my first car at a dealership too close to a naval base. Never bought a car before, had no idea what to do. Monthly payment is $250? That sounds sensible. Sat down and read the contract, much to the chagrin of the sales guy. Interest rate was 18%. I knew enough to walk away.
Ani DeFranco CDs and cassettes had a disclaimer that said, "Unauthorized reproduction, while sometimes necessary, is never as good as the real thing."
Sony can sue you for literally not updating your console software if you're connected to internet.
AncestryDNA owns your DNA forever and can do what it likes with it. I foresee Jurassic Park coming, but with people. Foresee it, the app that makes you look older that a lot of people have been using lately, basically says they can access everything on your phone and share it with whoever they want. I also used to use this popular tuning app that had similar TNC when I was learning how to play an instrument. I never actually got a tuner after that, so I haven't played since. Frown.
I'd sell my soul for a donut. Your soul is the legal property of Marge Simpson and not the devil's.
Something that I wish I read was on Fabletics online store. Apparently if you make any purchase they automatically sign you up to their VIP program, which is a $50 per month subscription for VIP clothes. I made one purchase on their site, checked out like any other online store, and got my clothes a week later. 8 months go by and I notice a minus $50 taken out of my bank from Fabletics. I check my bank pretty often, so I missed this, and it turned out to be a recurring payment for 8 months. I called their support line and explained to the guy that I never signed up for their subscription and I never even received any sign-up confirmation emails or payment statements to know what was happening. He said I most likely signed up when I purchased my clothes 8 months ago because it's in their terms. It's like once you sign up they ghost you and take your money every month. It took a lot of frustration and refusal to hang up the phone until they finally said I can get a refund of my $400 plus that was just sitting in my VIP account. I was like, clearly I was unaware of this because from the past 8 months I haven't made any more purchases on your stupid site. Give me my money back. They finally refunded it all back. Freaking scammers. Don't buy crap from Fabletics. I still should leave an online review about it because after looking up Fabletics scam it seems to happen to a lot of people.
In the hiring contract for the last company I worked for, there was a line buried on page like 22 that said if you email a certain email address on your first day saying you saw the line, you'd get a bonus day of PTO for the year.
After reading through all the comments here, I see no one has mentioned how useful this tip can be if you're downloading some shady software. Scroll through the entire TOS and find any checkboxes, then uncheck them. Usually for things like this, that's how various programs and malware will end up being downloaded without you understanding how, which is what will usually happen with people who are especially young or especially old. There will be something written in there like you agree that you would like to install Mega Super Server Search Plus to your PC and set it as your default search engine with a pre-checked box next to it, leading to a lot of easily avoided problems. So yeah, scroll through and uncheck boxes when you're downloading something weird. You don't even need to read the terms, just be aware what could be tucked away inside them.
I remember reading the Samsung terms and the conditions. They basically have full control over your phone. They can limit anything on your phone. You do not own it when you have a Samsung account on your Samsung phone. It was one of the ways they pushed out the Note 7. By disabling the battery from charging up to 100%, they kinda forced you to get a new one. I'm going to make a rant about this fricked up company.
I know at some point Comcast was not responsible if it killed you. Haven't looked at it in years though, used to work for them so you get to learn the terms pretty quickly.
Found this quite a few years ago on Chive. Anyone submitting photos to us also agrees to name their firstborn son, or daughter, Leo, and secondborn child, John. If you stop reproducing after the first child, you must agree to acquire a panda bear from China and name it John. Resignation Media not only owns the rights to any photos you upload, but also owns the rights to your mom. Should we wish to exercise this option, you agree to surrender your mom, and any claims you or your family may have on her, within 5 working days of receiving written notification from Resignation Media. In the event your dad or your mom's parents intervene and claim joint ownership of your mom, Resignation Media reserves the right to bitch slap them and give all parties Justin Bieber haircuts. If, upon receiving your mom, she attempts to leave the Chive's kitchen, where she belongs, she too will be given a Justin Bieber haircut. Edit. This was about 6 years ago and they have since changed it. I did take a screenshot of it back then, but it's at home on my personal computer. Best I can do for now is this link to an old Reddit thread I found.
Not totally related, but I heard on NPR recently that they can't really screw you over in any way by hiding some unfair clause in a long terms and conditions thing. It won't hold up in court, as it's unreasonable to expect people to read hundreds of pages of legal documents for downloading an app or something.
On Amazon, anytime they want they can take away from me the books that site bought on Kindle Store.
Amazon's AWS service terms contain a clause pertaining to a zombie apocalypse. No, really. However, this restriction will not apply in the event of the occurrence, certified by the United States Centers for Disease Control or successor body, of a widespread viral infection transmitted via bites or contact with bodily fluids that causes human corpses to reanimate and seek to consume living human flesh, blood, brain or nerve tissue, and is likely to result in the fall of organized civilization.
I had a Victoria's Secret coupon that said Canadians are required to pass a math question or test in order to be eligible for the discount. I think I still have it at my desk. My job in part is writing terms and conditions, agreements, and disclosures for the bank I work at, so I actually do read a lot of T&Cs in homage to the amount of time my colleagues in the field put into writing 18 pages of crap no one but examiners read. The Canadian math requirement is the strangest I've ever seen.
WhatsApp, when it went full Facebook 4 years after purchase, sent out an Android update. The update said it was just adding the ability to give group chats a subheading. What it was actually doing was giving Facebook permission to take information. This option was enabled by default. Of course it was, and you had only 3 months to notice this had happened before the option to opt out was disabled. I was late noticing this, but when I read the terms and conditions, the last line said something along the lines of, even if you opt out, Facebook and the Facebook family of companies will still take the data for training purposes. And deleted my account. They probably had my info by that point, but frick that crap. Installed Signal.
If you want to take Huawei to court, you have to take them to court in China. What they don't tell you is that it's near impossible for a foreigner to win a court case in China.
Gym membership contract. One of the reasons that will not allow waiving your resignation fee is in case of a nuclear reactor core melting.
DeviantArts is basically a contract allowing them to print, reproduce, and profit from your art, if they so choose, without needing your permission or consent. Usually this takes the form of ads or contests, where they'll be used in public displays. If you post works that show a high level of technical skill, then you need to either sign it or use a big ol' watermark.
A while ago, 2011, there was a scam work from home service widely advertised all over Facebook and other places, promising enormous paychecks and a free trial. It was an opt-out subscription service, as you might expect. Curious as to how the scam worked, I looked at their T&Cs. There was a clause in there requiring you to pay $10,000 in compensation to the company if you filed a chargeback against their fees. Whilst that would never stand up in court, dealing with debt collectors who might conveniently offer to settle for a mere $3,000 would be all sorts of hell.